His life was his work. I mean, he had a job, but his life was collecting.
When he finds something that was meaningful to him, he didn't stop.
The whole collection is some sort of poetic mosaic of life.
I think of Paul as being both the person and the personality and this incredibly sophisticated collector, but they're very much the same thing.
I think one of the great things about collectors and collections is they're this fantastic Rorschach into a personality.
That was the beauty of Paul, is that he was purely open. I always believed that he had a real eye when he looked at things.
We're sitting at a table by Robert Wilson and chairs by Robert Wilson, surrounded by Neolithic pottery and ancient tusks and, you know, the whole thing, the whole gamut. And it's great to see it because it really, everything you could see he connected to and wanted.
Paul was incredibly curious. I mean, he was forever in pursuit of something, and he constantly thought about things. I mean, he didn't just sort of blindly, go off and buy something. He bought something because there was a thread or a relationship, or as I said, a ribbon of something that connected one piece to the other.
It was phenomenal. He could create these environments. He had a great sense of attention to detail, for beauty, and this translated in everything that he brought into his life.
He buys something because of its oddity or its curiosity, and he did that with numerous types of things.
Whatever he would collect would be special, whether you knew about it or you didn't.
I first met Paul when he bought that beloved Philip Guston self-portrait, Smoke, Her, and Bed. It's just a fantastic drawing, a laconic profile of Guston, that sort of potato head form, and just the economy of line is extraordinary, but it's very powerful in its impact.
You might say there's a lot of decorative element in what he likes because there's a lot of color and texture and surface, but then you also look at his incredible Brice Mardens and you think he understood calm and minimalism and softness.
The work from '98 is full of color. It has this wonderful green and red whitewash over a neutral ground, but it's very rich, very much a surface texture, and very beautiful organic forms. This is a later work by Ralph Humphrey from the early '80s. Ralph moved away from his very defined, minimal paintings, which were pretty much color fields with an edge, if you will. But here he brings in a figurative element in a way that is, while abstract, still has a sense of figure. When you see the collection as a whole, it all makes so much sense, and that's really the genius of who he was. Between the Indian miniatures,
The minimal art,
English decorative arts,
photography,
figurative art,
post-war,
Indian folk art,
Brice Marden.
Christopher Dresser, William Morris.
Philip Guston.
Robert Wilson.
You know, it looked like it's all over the place, but it was totally thought out, and it totally had his perspective and his thought behind it.
People were missing a very generous person who set an example of generosity and philanthropy, and I think that will be very much missed, and also someone who delighted in discovery and friendships.
Paul Walter was two things. He was a great person and personality and a great collector.